we put our hands together and we invite Nikhil. And Nikhil, welcome to Expert. Stage is yours.
Thanks, Sharad. Thanks a lot. Uh, Thanks for welcoming me on this session. I actually enjoy speaking to founders, especially D2C founders, and learning about challenges. So while I was running Henry and Smith, Gorsha, she was my co-founder. She was part of bringing the traffic in, and I was actually in charge of actually converting the traffic. So it took me a lot of time, but I understood that there are so many little things that consumers see, right? As a owner, as a product owner, or as a website owner, we see कि हमने ये कर दिया, वो कर दिया, तो like this should convert. But from a consumer point of view, even small things like delivery timelines matter. So what I used to do was that I used to pick out the best website in terms of e-commerce and studied them deeply. So this is a checklist that I created at that point of time, which I gave it to my team to implement, right? So that that was the genesis of the sheet. So why don't we jump in and where you guys can ask questions and I can just follow from there.
So yeah, so two things, Nikhil. Maybe I think if you notice this sheet is broken down into multiple topics, right? For every type of page of your website, there are sort of key action items.
Correct.
You can just talk one by one for each item, and then if you have done the sheet, if you notice when you sort of fill that up, you might have gotten questions. What does this mean? Or should I be doing this? Or how should I be going about it? Now this is an opportunity where we want to sort of audit each of those sheets for your website, and then sort of get Nikhil to answer questions around that. And sort of show best practices, how certain websites have sort of covered that exact page. Is that fair, Nikhil? Yeah.
Yeah, that works. So let me share my screen. You guys can see my screen, right?
Yeah, we can.
So the way that we built this sheet was we identified few core areas that one is the home page, category page, product page, and out of these things, if you guys have seen Parasa's session, he's also his first point was that you should have a very clear category sub, like you should have a home page and a category and a subcategory and then the product page. So this is also a bit like that, because that is the basic fundamental of a website, that you need to have some structure into the website, right? And then from product page we go to cart page, checkout page, and thank you page. So these are the main components of any e-commerce website, right? So another thing to note is that not every point is valid for everyone. So some of the points may even be conflicting points, right? So for instance, if you will come to that conflicting points later on. But for instance, like in case of very general things, like your main pages, your product pages, your home page, landing page, they should load under 5 seconds or less. Anything more than that, you will lose the customer. In fact, I would say that even 5 seconds is more nowadays. It should be less than 2 seconds. So you have to work on that and ensure that your website loads very fast, even on your mobile, or even on your desktop, wherever the customer is, right? And when we talk about CTA is very important on any e-commerce website. CTA means call to action, and that means that whenever a consumer is coming to your website, they need to understand कि हमें करना क्या है, right? They don't have that idea. उनको नहीं पता कि उन्हें क्या करना है, but a website can tell them, it can guide them कि क्या करना है. So for instance, even on 404 pages, like there are a lot of instances when you delete a product and you end up with a 404 page that should have link to your other pages. I'll show you some examples on that. So this is a 404 page of a D2C website. If you see that whatever has happened, like you've ended up on a wrong page, but what they've done is they've very quickly shown you the products that they're selling. So your bounce rate decreases, your conversion rate increases, right? Similarly, things that are clickable, they should be very clear, like they should not be bland. For instance, if you again go on this website, you can see that this button, it has some sort of animation going on. It is actually inviting me to click on it. If I click on it, then I can actually be part of the referral program, or whatever program they're running. Similarly, even on the add to cart buttons, they have a very nice hover system. So I understand that I can click on it and the product will be added to my cart. So these are small nice things, subtle gestures that you need to focus on, and it's all part of the UX UI. A lot of D2C brands that I speak to, they don't have any UX UI expert, and but this part is very important, that your call to action buttons, and wherever you want people to click, they should have some sort of animation or some sort of deviation from the normal design. Cookie notification bar, again, not very much applicable for India, but yeah. If we talk about wish list, how many of you guys are doing wish list on your website?
Maybe from a reaction point of view, people can sort of give a thumbs up reaction. We'll know. So like just a reaction or a thumbs up. It'll be hard to, if I want to see one video. So reaction as in like the Zoom reaction. So whoever Zoom reaction,
All right,
this guy will know how many people are using the wish list.
So again, like this is one of the points which is not applicable for everyone. This is mainly applicable when we are talking about any lifestyle business, for example, a apparel store. So there the wish list works really well. But if we talk about a beauty brand, wish lists don't work that well, because for a beauty product, it's much more of a R&D process where a customer researches the reviews, they check out Google reviews, and then they buy the products. So they don't actually put it in the wish list, and whenever they buy the product, they actually go in they make their decision very quickly as compared to an apparel store. So this is one of the points where you have to see that if this point is applicable to you or not.
Cool. There's a question. Disha, you want to ask a question? Diksha? Sorry, Diksha, you're muted.
Hi, sorry. Hi, Nikhil.
Hi,
So
Diksha.
we used to have the wish list on our website, and we had it quite for long, for 6 to 8 months. We see a lot of people had wish listed our products, especially because they are high priced, so they want to keep it for some time. But what happens is our inventory for these products is low. Because it's handcrafted, what happens is it takes very long for the saris to be made. And sometimes the inventory just goes down and the new design comes up. So one problem is that either it goes off, and the second problem is, though we saw a lot of people wish listed this, it didn't convert, and we were told that it delays the time of the person who's buying it. He'd rather go put it in the cart and buy it, but if he sees the wish list option, he might just put it there and not buy it at all.
So the better way to use the wish list is that you collect the data what people are actually wish listing. So this will give you two types of insight. One is that what people want to buy, and one is that how kitne logon ne wish list mein dala but they're still not buying it, right?
Right.
So it could indicate that the pricing is not correct, or this could indicate that these are the kind of customers they're looking for a discount. So you could run a separate campaign on them, and depending on your business goals also, right? So at Henry and Smith, we used to do this whenever people were wishlisting a product and when they were going out of stock. So in apparel, especially if you have cut sizes, it becomes very hard to sell. So we used to use a wish list in that process, that in that aspect, that whenever we were going in cut sizes, we will send us special newsletter only to these people so that they can buy quickly. So this would increase the conversion. And we would also understand, what people are wishlisting in case they are wishlisting out of stock products, or, in general, people are liking stuff. So that kind of insight can also be gathered from that.
So is this not very similar to pre-booking something? If they were giving us an action saying that they want to pre-book, we would still get the same kind of insight that this is something that they are looking for.
Pre-booking, again, the intent is different. Wish listing means that people like the product. It's like putting a like on your Facebook post or Instagram post. But if you pre-book, then pre-book is again a different beast altogether. Operationally, it's very tough. So you can start with wish listing, and once you figured out that how to work on that. In fact, you can run Facebook ads on wish list customers. You can collect these in a different audience and start running ads on them and see if the conversion is lower on them or not. You can give them some additional offers, or they might have some questions they're not asking. For instance, I go to a new website, right? I don't know who these people are. What if my money is going to be stuck or not? So you're going to start building trust with these people.
Right. Okay, got it. Thank you.
It's Neha. So Nikhil, tell me how, when we are running out of time, we will sort of take questions later. But right now, there are 3 questions. I want to make sure we cover them. Cool.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Yes, Neha, and then Sheeta.
Sorry, I have a very silly question, but tell me, when I haven't done wish list ever, but we are in apparel, so I think it makes sense maybe for us to do it. Do we get access to each person's, like, do we know each customer's wish list when you?
So if the customer is it depends on how you have implemented your wish list, right?
Okay.
If a customer is logged in and then they're adding
Sure.
to wish list, you can, right? So if you go to Myntra, if I add product in my wish list, they show up in my account.
Correct.
Yeah.
And then it's easy for Myntra to kind of target you with those products again, right?
Correct. And they do that. If I wish list some items in my account,
Correct.
and some point of time I'll get some discount. That's what happens. I've seen
For
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, great. That's what I want to ask. Thanks.
Yeah, Sheeta.
Hi, Nikhil.
Hi, Sheetal.
My question was, so we have a guest login on our website, and we have not activated the wish list for guest logins. So do you think that's a important thing, or to do? Because when somebody guest login and does the checkout, we don't get all the information of that customer. So we were thinking of not having the option for guest list, and actually forcing them to do the sign up and then do the wish list, so that we can get all the information of the guest, whoever is doing the transaction. So what is your suggestion on that side?
So technically, you don't need fundamentally you don't need people to log in and wish list your product. They can wish list and you can still collect that information in your Facebook pixel and retarget them. So you can make it easy for people to just wish list and move on.
But the basic information, like we get on our backend of the Magento, when somebody is a customer and does the sign up and do the whole transaction, at that point of time, what the whole information we don't get it as the guest login checkout. I don't know, maybe something is missing what we are doing in a transaction. So you can just throw light over there if there is some tool or in a way which we can use.
No, tools are tools are fine. I'm sure there are various tools for this, but you have to fundamentally understand that if you're working on conversion rate optimization, you have to be very consumer friendly. You can't let people, you can't force people to sign up. You
Right.
can have a very subtle, when a person is not logged in and they click on wish list, you can have a very subtle pop-up where you can just ask their phone number. That's it. That's all you need to retarget them, right?
Sure.
Even if the customer is not giving in their phone number, you can still target them using the Facebook pixel. You can send in that event because Facebook knows that this particular consumer is on your website. You're using Facebook pixel, right?
Yeah, we are.
So you can that is your fallback option. In case you don't have phone numbers, you can still target people on Facebook, and that is going to be much cheaper, I guess. I think Garisha would know better.
Thanks, Nikhil. Thank you.
Yeah. Sure. So if you really come to think of it from a CRO perspective, these are very general points, and sufficient spacing between action buttons. So this is very logical. People are 99% of your customers are coming on mobile, right? And no matter how big their screen is, but at the end of the day, people are using thumbs to click. So you need to have sufficient spaces between the buttons so that people are not clicking the wrong button and they're not getting frustrated. The moment the customer gets frustrated, they will just close the window and move on. We are living in the world of flicking the windows. So you have to make it very easy for the customer to identify where to click, and once they're clicking, they are clicking the right button, right? Moving on, logo is placed on every page. So these are again very basic hygiene checks, right? You need to have that your logo doesn't, if it's in the center of your page, then it remains in the center of your page. It doesn't move here and there, because that again breaks the user's perception about the website, that this they might think that this is a new website, and they might not be able to connect that I came from this page. I came from a category page. This is a product page, but this looks like a completely different website. So you need to have these logo in one place, so people understand that okay, this is the same website. And if you look at any good website, they follow the same pattern. Again, micro animations, they help people understand that this is a call to action, and they will not know that this is a call to action, but from our perspective they will understand that this is a call to action and they can click on it. And it allows, it becomes very inviting for people to actually click on add to cart, click on checkout once they see this, and they start trusting the website. Again, I've seen this way too many times that uh, especially on mobile devices, that we have too many pop-ups. We have a help button, we have some reward process running in the background. So these pop-ups actually, they uh, hinder the process of clicking on any sort of a button, because if you click on a button which is behind a pop-up, it will never be clicked, and that leads to a lot of what do I say, drop off. So the correct way to use pop-up is to understand that it has to be used in stages. That once you figure out that the customer is not clicking on add to cart, it has to be a timed pop-up. You cannot have pop-up on the home page, on the category page, on the product page all the time. There's some essential pop-up, for example, a help button, which should be there. So you need to ensure that the pop-up comes at the right time. I'm sure most of you are doing this, that you're putting some sort of top bar which is showing your current offers or something like that. So this actually attracts the customer, and they understand, most of the time you could go with a 30% off or 25% off, whatever kind of discounts you're running, along with whatever discounts you're running plus some additional benefits. So it becomes very enticing for the consumer to convert. I've seen a lot of times people use this top bar for collecting emails also, so you can try that. Navigation, I think it's very simple. You need to have very shallow navigation. You cannot have a deep navigation. So just follow this tactic that there is a category, a subcategory, and a PDP. And if you can remove the subcategory part, that becomes even more interesting, because again, it depends. If you have hundreds of products, you will have subcategories, but don't nest it too deep. If you nest it too deep, then from a consumer point of view, it becomes very confusing for me to understand what is the brand selling, what is where I have to go. Good navigational feedback again, breadcrumbs is important. Amazon does it really well. I'll just show you. So if you see this part, pet supplies, dog food, dry, I can clearly understand, it gives me more context on the product that I'm visiting, right? Again, these are basic hygiene category labels. They should be very understandable to the general public. Sticky navigation, again, like mobile devices, sticky navigation is very standard now. You have the top bar where menu can be opened up right away. So these are pretty standard things. Search, again, search is again very tricky topic, because implementing search is technically very difficult. But again, it depends on the kind of products you are selling, the depth of your inventory. So say if you are selling something close to 500 SKUs, then you need to have a proper search, because people will search, and they will uh, it will be much easy for them to arrive at the right product. And building search has to be done in stages. You can't I'm not expecting that everyone will be able to do all these points in one go. So just pick out one point, implement it, and then then pick up the next point. Cart widget, again, cart widget is one of the most interesting areas of a website. You can use it to upsell. See, number one part is to maintain the hygiene. You have to ensure that the product photo is visible, title is visible, quantity is visible, price is visible, and whatever is the total price. If a product is of 100 rupees, there are some discounts, there are some additional benefits. Whatever it is shown as sum total at the bottom, right? And you can use this cart as a way to increase, what do you say, like, the number of items. I'll show you this example. They're doing it really well. This is a website, Chubbies. They're selling shorts. See the menu, right? They have a very simple menu. I can actually just understand what they're selling. So if you see, like, my screen is visible, right? The cart is visible.
Yeah.
So I can see the kind of product that I've added. This is the basic hygiene. I'm very much clear that this is the product I've added and this is the price. And if you see, they've used the rest of the cart to actually entice customers to purchase more. So this can be used as cross-sell, upsell. This area is very interesting. We have used it Henry and Smith, and we have been able to convert it, increase our AOV from 2,600 to approximately 3,200, just using the cart area. So moving on to the next point.
Yeah, anyone also while Nikhil is going through each of the items, whichever, if there is any doubt in any of these pointers when you try to fill the sheet up, please raise your hand and sort of ask. So then Nikhil.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the idea of each of these sheets. We'll go through each of the topics. Yeah, Aditya. Yeah.
Hey, my question was on the upsell part. So we are in the apparel space. So I'm curious to learn. So when somebody clicks on add to cart, we take them to a separate cart page where essentially, we show them like UML-like options. We also show them discounts, etc. to do to like increase the average order value. However, like you showed a mini cart, right? When somebody does an add to cart in the website that you showed, it's not really taking them to the cart page. It's actually showing a mini cart scrolling from the right side, and then they're trying to do upsell from there. So we have noticed this, like a few folks doing this, but never really tried this because, in an apparel space, the person needs to necessarily select the size before they can actually make a decision which product they want to add. So between a separate cart page versus a mini cart, especially in the apparel space, like, do you feel that a mini cart is still a good option in the apparel space where somebody needs to actually look at the size chart, add the size, and then not necessarily can't just add a product by clicking on like a plus size? So like one. Okay.
Yeah. So at Henry and Smith, we used to do mini cart only. Like, the full cart never worked for us. In terms of selecting the size, I don't actually remember, but yeah. So what we did was that, there are products in apparel which don't need size, right? For example, socks. So we used to upsell those.
Okay.
And we had a mapping also. For instance, if there is a guy who's buying a chinos for 30 size, we assume that, he would go for an underwear for medium size. So
okay,
that's
so you would
risk.
show the default size over there.
Yeah. So people could change the size. We had an option to change the size, but we made it very easy for the customers to not change the size, like, just give them a suggestive size. And most of the times we were right. So you can dig into your data and figure out this part and, do size mappings on that.
Okay, but you found that the mini cart was still better even in an apparel space than the typical cart page with upsell.
Correct. I'll show you one more mini cart. I think I really like this one. They in fact prompt you to buy more. So you see the bar up there, almost there. Add $23 to unlock free shipping. I know, like, free shipping in India, we do free shipping all the time, but this could be replaced by something like add 23, add 500 rupees more worth of products and get a bag free or something like that. And they're doing, like, they're doing mystery bracelet and all these. If I add something, they will send me some random thing. So these are, again, a lot of experimentations that they have done to figure out that, this works for them. And even consumers like this, okay, adding a mystery bracelet, let me see what I'll get, right?
Understood. Got it. Thank you.
Yeah, Vedika. Question.
Hi, Nikhil. I just wanted to ask
Hi,
one
Deepika.
question regarding timers on the slide cards. So we are working on a plugin from Shopify called iCart, and they offer an option of putting a timer for exclusive offers for upsell. So you can add a 10-15% off, say, for 5-10 minutes. So what do you think about adding timers to any kind of cards? Do they annoy the customer, or do they actually lead to higher average order values?
Like, it works, but you have to see if it works for your brand. So that what other people are doing, they're doing. Like, I can show you like 10 websites, they're doing this and that, but you have to see, experiment a lot and see if that is working for you. You could do A&B testing to show 50% of the users that, there is a timer, and you will see a clear difference, right? And that will give you a more accurate answer that, this can work for me.
Got it. Thank you.
But yeah, timers work.
Yeah, Apar? Yeah.
Hey, Nikhil. So one basic question. A lot of the things that you told us can be done via widgets on Shopify. There are a lot of Shopify apps that can do this. But the moment I'm very skeptical of adding any Shopify app, because the moment you sign on an app, you add essentially you add a piece of code to your either the checkout process or the product page or the home page. It's a JavaScript that gets entered, which means your website slows down, over which you don't have any control, because the moment you add a widget, there's a custom code added which you don't know anything about. So how do you improve upon your website speed? And you also want to add all these widgets.
See, Shopify is a very nice platform. In fact, they've recently launched another kind of framework called Hydrogen, right? So you can actually try looking at that, and that is, I've seen websites on that loading in less than 1 second. So adding JavaScript is not the problem; it's how it is being added.
Yeah, but that's not under our control. That's my question. वो हमारे control में होता नहीं है. So how do you sort of structure your website or optimize for speed then when the JavaScript is not under your control, when it's added because I've had this experience of adding a bad app onto your store, and then you have to figure out, and even when you uninstall app, the entire code doesn't go. Okay. So then you have to literally figure out which piece of code got added where.
Yeah, that is true on Shopify, but I think Shopify has recently changed all these things. Like, now whenever these kind of apps are removed, the code is also removed. So I think there's called theme extensions, which you can switch on and off. Like, the code exactly is in your control now, that you can remove it and add it without actually editing the code files. So Shopify is moving towards that. I've seen a lot of apps doing that now. But I get your point. Like, to be very honest, the speed thing it's a very huge scope. Like, because every website is different, every feature is different. Like, people are using different kind of apps. But it doesn't mean that you can't still optimize. Like, you need a good tech person to do that, and it can be done. I've seen Shopify websites, loading in 2 seconds or less than 2 seconds.
Okay, got it.
You can you check out this website called Allbirds. This one.
Allbirds.
Yeah, it's a very heavy website. Like, in terms of the amount of graphics they're using and all this, but the website loads very fast. They have all the modern features that we have sort of listed down in the sheet, but they're still able to do it. So you need to figure out a really good tech partner or something to do this. But it can be done. Like, there's nothing stopping people from making Shopify fast.
Okay, got it. Okay.
Okay, so Nikhil, we have moved to more questions, but do you want to we'll take the questions once we move to one to other sheets also? Is that okay, Aditya and Dheeraj? Because I just want to make sure we cover all of this within the 2 hours.
Yeah. I'll just sort of move quickly now. So yeah, just to clear this, like, please ensure that, your footer is very nice. You have a physical address if possible. You might have a registered address. You can have clear links to your return policy, privacy policy, because people these days, the kind of customers that you're targeting, they care about these things. 5 years ago, they would not, but now they do. You can show some trust icons, seal icons, like, if you have some SSL certificate, you can just figure out aapko kaun si company ne diya and just put out their badges. And if you have some kind of government certification, no matter what kind of certification, just figure out the logo and put it there. Again, like, I'm sure a lot of people, almost every one of you is doing this, putting links to the social media and all that. Moving on to the next sheet, homepage. Just a second, I'm sorry. Actually forgot to close the door. See, homepage is very important now. When I was talking about the conflicting points, you can see that there are a lot of conflicting points here. Instead of going point by point, I'll just show you directly on the website that what I meant by that. If a lot of you might have seen website like this. See, the number one point on the homepage is that people understand what you're selling. In case they can't make out what you're selling, then you've lost the customer. You've actually lost the story there, that why the customer is even there. So if you see this, I can clearly make out they're selling jewelry, and they're made very I think they're selling close to 2000 or more SKUs. So they made very nice boxes, and I can just jump in there directly. The second website is that they've shown a very nice background. They've made some digital asset of their own, Julyber, and they're running 65% off. So most of the times Chubbies is doing that. So this is the conflicting point that I was talking about, that you can't have both the things. You can either have a sort of explain what you're actually selling on the main website, or just have a call to action with a strong discount proposition, or with a very hard selling proposition, right? So you have to take care of that, what kind of direction you're taking, and you can keep on experimenting with that. One day you're doing one of the points, and second day or second week you are following with the discount strategy, and figuring out which one is working for you. Sometimes always rotating also works, that one for a couple of weeks you're doing this kind of homepage, but for rest of the days you're doing this kind of homepage. Does that make sense? All right, moving on. Again, I think social proof is something which you guys already understood, but how to do it correctly is you can have a look at the website. Pura Vida does it really well, in terms of you see, this is social proof, what people are saying. This is on the home page. If I go to Chubbies, they have, they're doing this kind of social proof available in stores, free shipping, secure payments, free returns. This is also a part of the social proof, that it builds confidence in the customer, that they can purchase from you. Trust badges, certificates, logos of other site, blog celebrities. So all these kind of things, they help people in establishing trust with your website.
Yeah. So
right.
Any question people have on the homepage topics? Or we also, Nikhil, we have some examples you've given out in the general section. Yeah, Supriya has a question.
Yeah, Supriya.
Hi, Nikhil. So we are a sustainable and a vegan fashion brand, and we work with very new age materials like cork and banana, etc., to create our products. So it's jewelry, it's handbags. So everything is very innovative. The category is innovative, and since we have jewelry for men, where usually it's not considered that men can wear jewelry, but it's again popular on our website. So there are so many things that are new, and we still have to tell our story about the materials and all. At times we wonder as to how long our homepage scroll should be and how much of information should we disseminate on the homepage. So if you have any recommendations on that.
Yeah, see, so homepage is like a overview. It's like a cover letter when you're applying for a job, right? So you have to think it like that. You first of all, if you just look, let's talk about this website Allbirds, and you'll understand. See, this is the first image is telling me that it is made from trees, designed for sun, and they have a very strong focus on shoes. There are two images, and both the images are same, but they're just focusing on the shoes, right? So I get to know that they're selling shoes. It's made from trees, so this is something different. And I have two very clear call to action: shop men, shop women. Not more than two call to actions are required. Even one is perfect. then they're diving deeper into the product lines for running for summer. So it makes very natural categorization for them. So in terms of when you're talking about depth, it doesn't matter. You need to understand if you have understood the kind of content that you can put, and if it can be related, a customer can relate to it, then you don't have to worry about that. And going further down there, they're doing some lifestyle photo shoots showing you the kind of products. So these kind of images, when I see them, and from a consumer point of view, it wants to I want to buy them, because it feels to me that my lifestyle can be improved if I use these products, right? So this is how a consumer thinks. Not in the same line, but subconsciously people think कि मैं मतलब this is मुझे अच्छा लग रहा है जूता, I should buy this, right? And then they have this social proof, like they've collaborated with some artist and doing something. They made a collection out of that. New arrivals, obviously this is one very common thing that you can do. New arrivals, if you have regular new arrivals coming in, homepage can be some place where people can just come again and again and see if something is new, and people do that. It's I think the new product, they're promoting the new product. Then they have collections, and now this is the part which probably you can use, because Allbirds is also doing something in that sense, that they're making shoes out of trees and all that. So they're investing in campaigns, doing climate change reversal and all that, sustainable practices. So they've done all this, and it builds trust in the consumers. Consumers feel that कि अगर मैं ये खरीद रहा हूँ, तो I'm not destroying the environment, right? So if you have that kind of customers, you can do that. And if you see, this is a very long homepage, but it's a very nice homepage to watch. It's telling me a complete story. It's telling me the complete overview. Ki what is Allbirds about?
Right. Okay.
Great. Yeah, Aditya. Yeah.
Hey Nikhil, my question is on the Shopify platform, where we're trying to optimize for speed, etc. So we spent some time optimizing the platform across images and multiple other aspects. But I mean, beyond, we've been able to get the onload speed time to say about 3 seconds or so, right? But when we tried bringing it below 2 seconds, one of the critical bottlenecks that we were facing was that Shopify servers are obviously not based in India, right? So they have a fairly significant server time that comes in upfront, which may not be the case with like a lot of examples such as Allbirds and other examples, because they're obviously based out of the US, Canada, etc., right? So do you have any examples of India-based Shopify websites which have been able to do like less than 2 seconds onload time, etc., which we can take inspiration from?
Let me figure it out and share it to you later.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sure.
Perfect.
That's a very interesting question, though, Aditya. Let's see what websites in India are doing fast on Shopify.
Because we spent a couple of months almost, and the biggest bottleneck that eventually came out was there is a Shopify server which is not sitting in India, and hence it will take away your 1 second or close to 1 to 1.5 seconds. Which means if you have to bring it down to less than 2 seconds, you need to pretty much optimize everything within half a second, which is like super difficult. Like even if you do everything, when you have like multiple SKUs for an apparel brand.
See,
I'm just curious to know if somebody's been able to do that. Yeah, please go ahead.
One thing that you can still do is have a landing page in the middle, right? If you have any kind of landing page that can be created on some other platform, which can load very fast, so you can put your ads on that landing page, and that landing page can actually be like very similar to how your website looks. And when people are clicking on add to cart, they're actually going to Shopify.
Okay.
So that way your drop off will reduce. You can try, it's all about experimentation. The more you experiment, the more you'll be able to understand that this thing can work for you or not.
Okay, but have you experimented with like two separate systems where a landing page is on a separate system, and then like people come onto a different system altogether? Like, does the integration and everything doesn't that become like too cumbersome? Because then you need pixels on two separate integrated on, let's say, another platform, and then Shopify. Those two need to talk to each other.
Yeah, it's not that complicated. You can still have same pixel on two website. That will not change your conversion rate optimal. It will not impact you as much.
Okay.
In fact, it will be you can figure out you'll have more data points.
Okay.
Okay, moving on. How many? Okay, like let's go to category page. See, category page is again very important, and I've seen a lot of people use category pages as landing pages for their ads, right? So, in fact, we at Henry and Smith were also doing that. That we were using our category page and product pages as the landing pages, not the home page. And we used to pay a lot of attention to how a category page is looking and how fast it is loading. You can still have your home page load slow, but your category page and product page, they need to load fast, right? uh, Again, basic hygiene, like you should have consistent design. You should have the length of the tile, or the column, this should be same across all the products. You should not have more than 2 or 3 products in a row. So these are some basic hygiene that you need to keep following, so that it becomes very easy for consumers to understand that this is an e-commerce website. You can't have an e-commerce website which is very much different from what is standard in the world. Yeah, people are used to Myntra, people are used to Amazon. So if you can make something as close to them as possible, that will improve your conversion rate. I'm not saying that just make the entire design like Amazon, but like just some basic hygiene features, like you uh, some basic filters that people are used to, some price filters that people always ask for. Like if they want to have these price filters. So one of the hacks that you can use in category pages for conversion is you can make some very custom category pages, right? So a very good example is again Pura Vida. When I go to shop, I can see that gifts under 15. These are category pages, specialized category pages, which is only showing me. It's like a uh, already applied filter page that खाली $15 से कम के मुझे products दिखेंगे, right? So these kind of category pages, they increase your conversion rate because people understand and find easy to navigate कि मुझे $15 से कम का सामान खरीदना है, तो this is where I can find it. Even in Chubbies, if you see that they have some very nice they have some very nice like in terms of retro 90s red and white, red, white and blue collection. I'm sure this is something which is coming from data that their red, white and blue collection is doing well, so they made an entire separate category page for that. So you guys can try this, and I know this has worked really well for us. We used to make category pages for office wear, and we just had like 3 pants in them. Even out of 30 colors, we just had 3 pants. We made it just really simple for people to decide कि office जाने के लिए ये 3 पैंट है, इसमें से कोई भी खरीद लो. Product, okay, again coming to the product cards. See, this part is very important, that when people are uh, in your category page, they're viewing individual products, and if these products have variants, then you need to show कि वो variants कौन से हैं right there. If people have to go deep inside the product every time to see the variant, it becomes very tiresome for them and they lose interest. If it's a single variant product, then just have a single CTA, add to cart, that's it. It becomes easy for people to just buy the product. And if possible, especially on mobile, on category pages, it becomes very easy for people to, if they, they can just flick the images using their thumb without going deep into the product. Again, these are some FOMO tactics, like you missed it. Badges work really well on the product, because you can, that way you can मतलब अगर आपके 50 products हैं, उसमें से अगर 15 पे badges लगे हुए हैं, so these products are standing separately. These products have some special meaning in consumer mind now, so that helps them convert more. उनको context मिलता है कि अच्छा ये best seller है, like let me figure this out. People always like जब भी whenever you have to be very human understanding, कि जब भी हम जाते हैं तो हम किसी भी शॉप पे भी जाके बोलते हैं मुझे सबसे अच्छी साड़ी दिखाओ, like this is what happens. So just follow that on your website, that already give people these notions that this is the best seller, fast delivery, dispatch in 2 hours. So these kind of things people get attracted to, and then they buy. It also builds inherent trust कि अच्छा delivery in 2 hours, मतलब मेरे मन में automatically आ जाएगा that this is a good company. अगर ये 2 घंटे में delivery मुझे दे रहे हैं, dispatch दे रहे हैं, so this is I don't need to worry about my money. Filters are again important, and this is again very subjective to the kind of products you're selling. Like if you're selling just 10 products, 15 products, don't bother with filters. There are so many other things on the sheet, you can focus on that. But if you're selling like more than 100 products, then you need to give filters in terms of, and these filters have to be very relevant to the product. They can't be general filters. If you're selling shorts, then you need to have some kind of filters on the basis of size, colors. If you're selling jewelry, then on the basis of style or occasion, have such kind of filters and meaningful filters. Again, as with every other point, just start building it from the the one point. You don't have to focus on doing all the points together, because that will becomes very difficult. Just figure out one point that can be done easily and see the impact, measure the impact. And this is again very nice to do. Most popular filters are shown. If you can figure out that people are always kind of filtering these, then you can have some filters where people can just click on the filter and it automatically applies. Okay, so
one second. Any questions on the category page? Let me just move to the product page. I just want to make sure everyone has a chance to ask any question on the category page. So when you filled up your form for your category pages, was it any other things which you want Nikhil to clarify on? Dheeraj, you had a question, right? I want to sort of give you that chance to ask. Yeah, unmute it.
Yeah, thanks, sir. So, Nikhil, I had a couple of questions, but I will start with the relevant one right now with category. Now, for our products, we are selling perfumes, right? So, we have a lot of categories that we've created. Now, the challenge is, yes, you can create a lot of categories, but how do you kind of get which ones of those are you displaying on your homepage? What's the strategy behind? What's the thought process behind displaying those categories, and where do you display so that it's easily accessible? Navigation bar, I understand. Beside navigation, is there any place on the homepage that you should put it?
hi Dheeraj. So Dheeraj, basically you want to understand apart from homepage where you can put the category.
No, on the homepage.
On the homepage,
yeah. How do you kind of decide which categories to put, which ones to show? What's the reasoning behind it? What's the thought behind it?
see, homepage is like your first impression. You have heard that, right? The first impression is the last impression. So D2C के अंदर वही चलता है. So your homepage is your cover letter, right? You have to present the best of your D2C brand. So if you figured out that this is your best category, then just put that one best category on the homepage.
Any other, is there any thing to decide which is this? Because what we figure out as best category and what is the user perceived categories which is relevant, sometimes there can be dissociations. You might not know what they are searching for, what would be. So I think your sheets are so elaborative. So I thought, would there be any way to figure out, how do you kind of decide which categories to choose and list them, or do you keep changing them? Do you suggest we keep changing the categories on the homepage that we display out of whatever we created?
Yeah, you have to keep on changing. See, if you're doing some kind of some campaign, so that campaign is slightly different from your best category, then you can change that category. And your best category cannot be your best category. It has to be the customer's best category. So this insight has to come from the data, from talking to customers. What you feel is the best category might not be what other people are feeling that. तो मतलब कस्टमर भगवान है. कस्टमर अगर बोल रहा है ये बेस्ट है तो वो बेस्ट है, राइट?
Yeah.
I have two questions. One is, if you have a limited number of products, do you really need a filter?
No.
Okay. And my second question is, what I don't understand is, you stay at the same vertical position if you go to product page and then back to category page. What does that mean?
Which point?
So you in your general, you say you stay at the same vertical position if you go to the product page and then go back to the category page. What does that mean?
So basically, a lot of times what happens is when a customer clicks the back button, right? They are a lot of times redirected to the home page, because most of us are using Shopify, so it doesn't matter because Shopify always takes it back to the category page. But it's a very human psyche thing that मतलब अगर आप एक आगे चलो और आपको पीछे जाना, so you have some residual memory कि my last page was a category page, right? If you don't see that page, then you have some disconnect and then you drop off. So this is that point.
Going
Yeah.
back to the previous page.
Same, correct, the same page.
Yeah, cool.
Okay, so product page is like, I think it is the most important. It is the most important page. In fact, at Henry & Smith, we only build our product page for 2 years initially without focusing on the home page or the category page, because we had just one product with a lot of variants. So we just made that a landing page and just actually optimize it to a level that our conversion rate actually shot up the roof. So these are again very general points, like sticky navigation. Again, some of these points might not be applicable to you. Sticky navigation with product page, product image, sometimes it's not necessary and it might not agree with your design, so you can skip that. But it should have some this part is very important. The fourth point is very important, that potential customers should have an option to ask you questions. It can be through a WhatsApp chat or through a website live chat, because you have to understand that as a young D2C brand, right? People don't trust. In India, it's a very inherently low trust nation. So if you give people a chance to talk to you, and if there is a real human behind that conversation, it becomes easy for them to make that purchase. And they might have a lot of questions regarding delivery timelines, even though you have written it on your website, right? Even though you have it written 5 times on your website, but still people want to sometimes just talk before making a purchase. That's the behavior. And once you cross that chasm where you have, say, 1 lakh customers doing this, then you probably won't need that. But at least in the initial stages, it becomes very important that all your customers, you know them by your name. So that really helps you in understanding that the kind of product you are selling, and even understanding कि हम वो सही price point पे बेच रहे हैं या नहीं बेच रहे. Breadcrumbs, again, like this is a point that we covered previously. Give them some way, give customers some context on what they're actually doing. So this again is, I think this is a point we covered in the wish list part. So this works, like if people want your product, if you have some unique product and it's not available, they can give they can give their information to you. Once that product is available, then run campaigns on them. So it gives a very good conversion. Product descriptive, product titles. So product titles are very important. I think everyone is selling on Amazon, and Amazon has taught us how important product titles are and how we can write them better. So just focus on that on the website also, that these product titles actually convey what they are, and they actually are able to portray some kind of differentiation with the competition. So we've actually been able to see that using words like effortless, incredible, absolute. So these these power words instill confidence in the customers. Product rating, again, very important. Reviews, I think Paras's session also covered this. Reviews are so important that if you don't have reviews on multiple places, you need to have reviews on Facebook, Google, Amazon, and your own website. So it becomes easy for customers to see that you are a real brand. You are not some fake company. A short list of other key benefits of the products. I'll show you some example on this. If you see this website, see how beautifully they've done sugar slider highlight. Just 3 points, but these 3 points are enough to sway a customer to make the purchase, because these points are so unique. And obviously, like if I go down, they have some more details around product details, sustainability, care guide, shipping returns. All the information is present on the website, including the images and a video with the product. So this is example of a perfect product page, a very high converting product page. Yeah.
Aditya, you have a question?
Yeah.
Nikhil,
Yeah,
my
Aditya.
question is on the chat, the second point that you made around having a live chat or like a phone number, etc. So we were experimenting with WhatsApp, like having a clear call out for a WhatsApp in case somebody has any questions. We noticed that a lot of people, were kind of getting distracted, and they eventually landed on WhatsApp. A few of them asked questions, then probably didn't buy, etc. And eventually, just having an add to cart as the main CTA on the product page was working better. Because I mean, the live chat or the WhatsApp in our case was like acting as a distraction. Is there any other way, like to kind of still incorporate that functionality, or like have you seen some other kind of chat working better than WhatsApp, which kind of helps ensure that we can still build this while ensuring people are not dropping off?
See, I think if your data says that not having a live chat works better for you, you can actually remove it from that page. You can have it on the other page.
Okay.
So, for instance, you should always have that live chat on the returns and policy pages, because people might have questions there, and there is no call to action on those pages, right? So, if a particular page conversion is going down because of having a live chat, just remove that from that page.
Okay. And like doing in one of the earlier sessions, like what we are trying currently, again, don't have enough data on it, is like having a small pop-up that comes in, say after a certain scroll, which says, is there something stopping you from buying from us today, or something like that, right? Which is more like the person can fill up that in a single line, and then we can obviously reach out to the person in some time, which is obviously not as distracting as a live chat, but still captures the feature. Have you seen any kind of differences between like these kind of options? Any learnings from there?
So we used to do this, what you were saying, but we used to do this on add to cart. Like, we had a very small pop-up whenever a customer was adding to cart, we would just ask their phone number. That's it. Earlier we used to ask their email, but phone number worked better for us.
Okay, so when somebody added to cart, you would ask for their phone number.
Correct. So we did, again, like, we did a lot of experiments on this. We had multiple pop-ups. We even had a header bar where people could fill in their information. But this one worked better for us. Whenever people were adding to cart, we would just ask their phone number. Okay. And we would also give them an option to skip. Like, if they want to skip, they could skip. But 90% of the time, people would put in their phone number.
Understood.
See, one more thing you have to understand is that sometimes people just put in their phone number, add to cart, and they know how to game the system. मतलब उन्हें पता है कि brand थोड़े time में reach out करेगा, मैं discount देगा. There could be some people like that, but let them convert on the first go. If they really like your product, next time they won't be looking for a discount.
Got it.
See, image gallery again is very important, like, because that is the only way people are actually seeing a product. So investing in some good photo shoot and some good photo shoot guidelines is important. Again, coming back on Amazon and Myntra, a lot of people of you are selling there. So they have some certain guidelines. If you can't make your own guidelines, just take their guidelines and copy them on your website. And if possible, put a video, like something like this. Where did it go?
Video, madam, I want that happening today.
So this kind of video is actually helping me understand that this kind of product मेरे पे कैसा लगेगा, like, because just going by the product images, sometimes I'm not able to figure out. But if you can do some videos, they really help in conversion. Again, some basic hygiene, like, they should have some arrows to navigate, swipe action on mobile devices, different images for different variants. If you're doing variants, if you have color options, and if a person is selecting that color, the image should change to that color. CTA, like, most of the points on these are very hygiene points that, cart ko cart bolna hai, add to cart hi bolna hai. Because if you go and actually, like, call your add to cart some other button, like something else that you feel is going with your brand, but customer ko nahi samajh mein aata hai, they are used to add to cart, so just go with that flow. There's so many points in there. If you have any questions on this product page.
Nikhil, this is Manjari from Palm Didi.
Hi, Manjari.
Majorly buyers are women, actually. So
yeah,
and that too Indian women, housewives. So you have shown some good examples of how US companies are doing it, right? Do you have some Indian examples, which is cater to especially our Indian women, right, which are not much friendly with the navigation of website and things like that? If you could share those examples, I think that would be really helpful.
I honestly, I don't have a lot of Indian examples because we used to look at these websites, and these websites, we've seen them grow from very small part to very small websites to big websites, and they've done really well on the conversion. So we thought that, why not just see what they're doing and adapt them to our audience. So not everything that they are doing can be done by us, but we can still see like कि वो किस तरीके से कर रहे हैं and just adapt it to our audience. So if you say that, your audiences will not be able to figure that part out, then just make a very simple navigation. You don't need to do complex navigation. You don't need to do complex pages. You can just make very simple pages, put everything in one place, and have a add to cart button. Probably that can help.
Okay.
Any other question?
So I have a question. When everyone was filling up their product detail sheet, when you were sort of going through each of those items as part of the assignment, any of the items you did not understand, or you think, oh, I want to do this, or I should not be doing this? Because the entire endeavor was we wanted to fill the sheet before running the session, so that you have a list of questions which you want to sort of cover up in this time. Or was the sheet good enough, very self-explanatory? Yeah, so Nikhil, maybe what you can do is we can cover each of those top points very clearly. Aditya has a question, but then each of the subheadings you've covered, we'll just touch each one.
Yeah. So some of them are repeat also. Like for example, social proof is again coming on product page. It's the same thing as category page or home page, but it's again very relevant if you have some social proof just for the products, that relevant product.
Great. Aditya has a question. Yeah.
Yes, Aditya.
Hey, Nikhil. So Nikhil, my question is on the conversion rate. So you mentioned like while we're trying to optimize for conversions, like especially on the product page, etc. So what's a good number to target when we are looking at our conversion percentage that, this is a fair enough benchmark to kind of reach to be, say, like, let's say in the top 10%, 20% stores, specifically on Shopify, or even if you have a generic benchmark?
See, I've seen conversion rate 2% also. I've seen conversion rate less than 2% and about 8% also. So you have like, there is iska na koi sar pair nahi hai. It's not like standard something, but yeah, 2% to minimum hona hi chahiye.
Understand. So the reason I was asking was, just to give more context, like we are on a Shopify store and we currently have a conversion rate, say around 4.5%. And like our CAC is somewhere close to about 600 odd rupees with an average order value around 1500. So that's a ROAS of roughly 2.5. Now we've seen that it's extremely difficult to take the CAC below, say, 500 odd levels on Facebook, etc. So the only way for us to increase the ROAS is by increasing the average order value, because if the conversion is roughly at 4-5%, CAC is optimized. So then the only lever which we feel is left is how do we kind of take the average order value up. So what we've been trying to do is have like tiered discounting. So like if you add like 3 products or more, you get a certain discount which you don't get on, like on a single product you get 10%, on 2 products you get 15%, on 3 you get 20% and beyond. That has helped us, but again it is capped at around 1500, 1600. So I'm trying to understand what are some of the ways that you've seen which can significantly help in boosting the average order value specifically for an apparel space, more so specifically, if you can just talk about a little bit about that.
I'll tell you an example which we did, like, to increase our average order value. What we did was that, we took out the product in the underwear category and socks category. So these are the categories which are very high margin, but they have very low purchase. Like, the intent to purchase is very low usually. So what we did was on our website, like, probably not in the industry. I'm just talking about what we felt on our website. So when people were buying chinos, we would just tell them that, you can buy if you, we had a combo of underwear for 999. So we just used to tell them that, if you buy this for, you can buy this for 500 rupees. So we used to show them ki kitna aapko benefit mil raha hai if you just add this to your cart. So that increased our average order value from 2,600 to 3,200. So, you know,
Okay.
giving products which are not your core products, but can still add value to the customer.
Okay, I understand.
या फिर हमने मतलब you can run campaigns like, you know, buy 3 get this XYZ product for free which is worth 500 rupees. So that can work. So these are again like, you know, if you go and if you go in this section conversion and AOV boosters, you'll see that, you know, tier discounts works really well, especially in apparel, but combine them with other bonuses, other freebies on certain like, you know, सारे tier discount लग गया, सब कुछ लग गया, उसके बाद आपका 5,000 का कार्ट हो गया, तो आपको एक duffel bag free मिल रहा है.
Okay, got it.
Something like that. So these again, they can be built on website also. You can do something like this, where, you know, you can have some kind of bar filling in. कि मतलब if you do this, अगर आपने $50 कर दिया, $40 कर दिया, then you unlock something. So this acts like a game also for consumers, right? कि अच्छा मैं करूँगा तो मुझे ये फायदा मिलेगा. And people do that.
Got it.
Again, creating some FOMO. These are again FOMO tactics, like, you know, only 3 products left and all that. They sometimes work if you have a very unique product. Product description, I think everyone again selling from Amazon, they know and understand कि product description कितना important है. So if you don't have a proper product description, people are unable to understand कि मैं ये क्यों खरीदूं. They have no value proposition, right? Any questions on this?
Really good. I think.
All right.
Yeah, I think Apar has a question.
Hi, Nikhil. So there is
Hi, Apar.
on a lot of websites, what I've seen is there's a sticky. This is, I think, there on the Boat website also, Boat headphones website. What I've seen is the sticky add to cart button, which keeps with you as you're scrolling on the product page. You keep it down, keep reading the description, but the add to cart button is sticky at the bottom of the page. I personally found it to be intrusive, but whatever I've read online is that it works. Just wanted you to share your thoughts on this.
Yeah, it works, but it depends. Like, you know, अगर boat के लिए काम कर रहा है तो जरूरी नहीं आपके लिए काम करेगा. But do experiment on that. If you again just split your traffic, build this feature on the website and split your traffic 50% on this and see कि वो काम कर रहा है नहीं कर रहा. And if possible, split it on a single product. आपका best selling product है, उसके ऊपर split कर दो 50% traffic, and you'll see अगर आपको उसमें conversion में दिख रहा है 10-20% का difference दिख रहा है, मतलब even 5% का दिख रहा है, then just do it.
Got it. Okay, got it. ठीक है.
Well, if you really come to think of it, think of this sheet as something that, you know, these are the points that you never thought of, and if you start building on these points, then you have to see कि ये वाला point मेरे लिए काम कर रहा है नहीं कर रहा है. It has to be data backed. You have to understand that, you know, if it is making that impact on your website or not. If you can see the increase in conversion rate.
Got it.
Not all the points will work for you. Not all the points will be valid for you.
Yes, Supriya. Supriya, mute.
Nikhil, when you spoke about splitting traffic, we use Shopify as a platform. So are there any plugins that allow us to do these kind of A/B tests?
Shopify, I have no idea, but I think there should be, because I've seen these people, like the examples that I'm showing you, they're all built on Shopify. They all do A&B testing heavily.
Okay, and another question that I have is that we've been ideating about creating a different website on Shopify, which would be for an international market. So, and you mentioned that the same pixel can be used on 2 websites. So would that be a good idea to do, or should it be a different pixel for a different website?
I think if you're doing an international website, you should have a different pixel. It will make it easy for you. It's a very implementation detail, like, you know, if otherwise you will have to filter data कि ये कौन सा website का है.
Right. All right. Thank you.
That can be done, like, if you're comfortable, you can do it.
Right.
Both the ways are possible.
Sure. Thank you.
All right. Anyone doing landing pages?
Yeah, anyone uses landing pages to drive traffic from maybe their ads directly to landing pages before any other page on the website? Right? That's the question, Nikhil.
Yes.
Maybe first, Nikhil, you can tell us why should someone who's using landing pages, then maybe if they're not yet from Jay. Anyone who's using, can you give a thumbs up reaction on Zoom? Also, we'll know you're attending and we're sort of alert so about this. Okay, so Sheetal is doing it. Wait. So maybe Nikhil, I think the concept of landing page might be important for them to sort of first key understand as a
Yeah. See, landing page is like it's like a middle station. It's like not the destination, but it's a middle station. But it can be used as a standalone page where you have your home page, product page together. So a landing page is specifically used to either collect information or to sell a product. But because in this case we are all D2C brands here, so we'll just focus on selling the product. So you can have if it's very difficult, it's a landing page is again a very huge scope. A lot of R&D will have to go into this if you want to start to do this. But landing pages can actually boost your conversion rate because landing pages are not bounded by any platform, and you can have some standalone landing pages. Direct your traffic on the landing pages and start collecting customer information and sell them the product right there. So think of it as a combination of your homepage and a product page in a single page. It's usually a long format page, and you can start with usually what I have seen is that people start with landing pages. They first tell you कि ये क्या product है, आपके लिए क्यों useful है. Then they go deep into social proof. They do a lot of reviews, they do a lot of videos, and at the end of the day at the end of the page you have some offer and some ability to buy the product. So, and once you buy that product, usually you are taken again directly on the Shopify checkout page. It usually works well for brands who are selling less products. If you're selling multiple products, it won't really work. But yeah, if you have multiple products, but your revenue is coming, say 70-80% of the revenue is coming from a single product, you can still try that with the single product.
Quick, 2 questions, Sheetal, yeah, and then Supriya.
Yeah, hi again. So at Kiabza, we have two sides of the business. On one side, we have to get sellers on board, where we are running the ads and to those sellers who have their clothes, pre-owned branded clothes, and they want to sell on Kiabza. So to them, we have a landing page of sell, where the problem here is that when they come on that sell page, they have I have given whole information about what Kiabza is all about, or what the selling process is all about, why they should use Kiabza, whole information about the selling side, the margins and everything. And then there are 2-3 tabs of which take them to fill the form, let's say sign up form. So is there a right way to do it, or I should give the form on the same landing page itself and not taking them to the next step or the next page itself?
I think if you're doing a landing page, then everything should be on the same page. Landing page means everything is on the same page.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you can try again, as I said before. If you feel that something is wrong, just make a new version of it. And even if you can't split the traffic, then just switch off the previous version and see if the new version is working or not.
Got it. Okay. Yeah, that was my question. Thank you.
Yeah, Supriya.
So Nikhil, when you're talking about developing a landing page, is it something that you have to code outside? I mean, I'm sure it has to be coded outside of Shopify, but is there a recommended tool or a recommended method that you went about doing it, or do you need a coder in-house to do it?
You can do it on WordPress, or you can do it on website builders also, the drag and drop builders, because they, for example, Webflow, you can do it on Webflow. Webflow is a drag and drop interface. And the loading page of that website of landing page is very fast. So the drop-offs minimize, and you can tell your complete story on a single page without the consumer getting distracted. But when the checkout happens, Shopify provides this feature where you can just directly take a consumer to checkout, and the product is already added to the cart. So that is the only exit out of the landing page.
Okay.
Yeah, and it works.
Okay. If you have any link or something where there is some more documentation on this that we can read, it would be really helpful.
Landing page is very common. Like it's a very common strategy. You'll find a lot of resource on Google on this.
More to do with the tools, that we can use to do this DIY.
Tools again, like Webflow is very good. I code, so I don't usually use a lot of tools, but I think we can figure out some tools and Sharad, we can figure out some tools and let them know in the group later, right?
Yeah, I think also can be done in Shopify. I'll check Shopify and tell you. Okay?
Shopify again, but it can be done in Shopify also. But again, the speed factor.
Yeah, if there's a challenge.
Yeah, if there is a challenge. Yeah, for starting, you can still do in Shopify.
Okay.
There are page builders in Shopify.
Wait. Yeah, Nikhil.
See, this particular cart page CRO optimization is specifically for if you're doing a separate cart page. But if you're doing a mini cart page, a lot of the points that I've covered previously are still the same. Like you need to have clear-cut description on the product that is being added to the cart, the price, the discount, and everything. People need to understand. A lot of times people add to cart to see कि उनको कितने का पड़ रहा है. अगर उनको वो समझ में आता है, then they make the purchase. If they are unable to understand कि मुझे कितने का पड़ रहा है, then they drop off. So they need to understand that if I have added this item to the cart, मुझे 500 रुपए देने, मुझे इससे ऊपर 1 रुपया नहीं देना. So that part needs to be very clear. And again, you can use the cart for upselling, cross-selling, incentivize people to add more items to the cart. So all these kind of things you can do, and you can also personalize the cart. Like if someone is adding a shirt, you can show them pants or some related products that make sense for them to buy together. Checkout page, I think you can't. This part is Shopify doesn't allow a lot of customization on checkout pages. But still you can minimize the steps. Like you can minimize as many steps as possible for people to check out quickly. Shopify has by default, like now they when people start typing their address, it gives out suggestions using Google addresses, right? So you can do that, and don't always ask people to log in. People find it very frustrating that you have to log in to make a purchase. If you want that people want if you as a brand want that customers should log in, then provide them with Google login or Facebook login, because that is always there on their phones, and it becomes easy for them to not remember another password. It becomes easy for them to track order later on, and it will reduce your queries. So minimize the stress for the customers, like just provide them with the easy path. Like I would rather say that give them a red carpet on the checkout page ki acha aapko jaise checkout karna hai, aap kar lo. Like this is the strategy that we followed, and we were very successful in that हम लोगों से कोई login नहीं कराते थे. We had as little fields as possible, and we used to give them a lot of payment options. So payment options is one thing which was extensively covered in Parasa's session also, that it is very important for people to have a lot of payment options, because we India is a huge country and we have a lot of banks, we have a lot of payment options. You don't want to lose customer because they want buy now pay later, and you don't have that. So I would suggest that you invest some time and some technical manpower in ensuring that your checkout page has all the right payment gateways, has all the right call to actions, and no extra things, like that will actually help you convert more.
Nikhil, I again had the same question. I mean, it's a concern because the information we don't get from customers if it is a guest login. So, I mean, how can we improve on that to get, because I understand that Facebook will take the information at the back end and everything, but for our SMS and email campaigns, we need those kind of information, but which we are not getting from guest checkouts. So is there a solution for that kind of thing?
Even if people are doing guest checkout, they'll still give you their email and phone number for order delivery, right?
Yeah.
So that you are getting that.
But it's not the whole information which we are providing for guest checkouts. I mean, we are not receiving that. Maybe some error is there, but we have not been able to get that information from customers when they are doing the guest checkout.
Actually, could you try to explain again? Like, when once a guest checkout happens, what kind of information you want and what kind of information you're not getting?
So from let's say name and everything they provide, but somebody who from which state they are, so they in the address they have given us that, but on this.
Sorry, I think we lost her. Maybe she.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Any questions on the checkout?
No, there's one two comments where I think Jay says the Razorpay Magic checkout is really helpful, but I have no questions. Anyone has any questions on checkout? Cool.
All right. So thank you page again. If thank you page and tracking pages, order tracking pages. So there are some stats available on internet. Like you can see on an average, a consumer tracks their order like 2 to 3 times. So if you can apart from thank you page is important because once the order has been received, you need to show people the confirmation that their payment is complete and the order, whatever order they have ordered, like just show a summary, a clear cut summary. Send them an email, send them a WhatsApp, so that because people get actually very jittery if they don't figure out that their order has been placed, if they don't get a proper confirmation on that, and as a brand you lose trust on that. Secondly, you can also use your thank you page as an additional booster. Like you can have some additional call to actions, like for instance, you can ask your customers to refer them, or to participate in the referral or loyalty program, or you in fact you can just tell them that you placed an order, you're getting some X amount of points now. So these kind of small tidbits just help customers engagement, and later on can be used, because at some point of time you will have a cohort of customers which are like they've not bought for a long time. You can use these pointers again, that you bought us 6 months ago, you have some points left in your account, you can make a purchase now. So these are small conversation conversation starters also, but have some sort of relation back on the thank you page, that this happened, like you bought a product and you have some of the points on your account. Or you can actually allow people to buy more products. So for instance, they're buying a pant, you can actually show them socks, like you bought a pant from us, we also have socks, and allow them to add that socks to the same order if possible. Does that make sense? Any questions on thank you page?
Anyone has also tried optimizing the thank you page? I'm just curious because it's such a nuanced thing. Most of us sort of ignore thank you pages to do anything about it. I'm more curious, anyone has sort of
Yes.
optimized it for themselves. They want to share. Maybe
At Henry and Smith, we used to go give coupons, that okay, this is a coupon, and we used to have a validity on that coupon which was valid only for a week. That is the time when the order would also get delivered, so they could experience the product. And just before that end of the week, like just one day before, we'll also send a message saying that you have a very exclusive coupon, this is just a limited one-time coupon. And we used to have conversions on that.
thanks. Also, I want to sort of highlight, maybe a call out. Okay, yeah, I have a question. Yeah.
No, I just wanted to just share our thoughts on the thank you page. So what we've recently done is we felt that it's a great place to take feedback because the user is extremely keen, and we have a small pop-up which says you get a reward. So what Nikhil was saying, we actually give them a reward, like a 25% off on their next purchase, which they can use for a month. But before they get the reward, we ask them a couple of questions, which have helped us in improving the experience and so on. So we felt that it's a great place to take that feedback, because the user is extremely keen to fill it up, and at the same time incentivize them for a next purchase by giving them an offer for a certain period of time. So just want to share that.
Actually, Aditya, that's a very great idea. Like, you're taking feedback, you're taking something and then giving back something.
Yeah, because a lot of like the response rate is pretty good, right? Because they know they're getting something, plus they're already involved. So we felt it's something that we were able to crack. So just want to share that with the group.
Correct.
Also, I mean, we have, also in this call, Gorisha. Gorisha is Nikhil's co-founder at Henry & Smith. She's also been an expert on Facebook. She runs a separate session for us for Facebook. So Gorisha, maybe any of your thoughts with Nikhil when you were working? And I know Nikhil shared this dynamic between Gorisha's job was acquiring traffic, Nikhil's job was converting. If you're with us, can we sort of share some insights? And because we've sort of covered many pages, how would sort of the cohort think about sort of piecing all these together across multiple pages?
Yeah, I think that would be great.
Hi guys. So I think, getting traffic is super, super important. I think Facebook marketing, etc., and all the media channels, it's very important. But the most important part is the CRO of it all, and thinking about how to really convert this on each and every level. Because then if you think about it, out of all the 100 users that you acquire or you get onto your website, usually there is a drop off of, like a 40% or a 50%. And at a lot of websites, and especially in apparel, I've seen there is even a higher drop off of a 65 to a 70% too, in which case you're just losing out this traffic due to some reasons. And when you optimize on all of these pages, the smaller bits and pieces of it, looking at your cart page, your product page, making sure that you have enough social reviews, you have all the right kind of banners, the CTAs are placed at the right positionings, you have referral programs going on, etc. With these things, you're just able to optimize this traffic and ensure that you have a lesser bounce rate, and all of these people are actually converting. And even if they're not converting, then at least you're increasing your brand's awareness. And as soon as the salience, it keeps on increasing, right? Later on, you will just see the curve of your conversion rate grow higher and higher. So overall, if you are able to implement all of these things, and I'm sure that it's going to take a very longer period of time, because there are a lot of steps. And I remember the time that Nikhil was building these things on Henry & Smith website, it was just super, super tough. I mean, each and every feature, it takes a lot of times. And I see, Aditya had mentioned that once you integrate one piece of plugin onto the website, it just goes wham, which is, it just slows down immediately. And then it would take again a lot of time and a lot of coding and an effort goes into making it faster for the consumer. And then you go back and, experiment on another plugin or experiment on another feature which needs to be added. But here, I think, one of the top thing which I think I could relate to as a customer was the social reviews, the referral programs. These were the two things which I think is very, very imperative. I mean, these are the things which each and every website should have, and not just like a simple kind of a plugin wherein you just have a review and stars and just, the face of the customer, which usually now D2C brands, they've started putting in because it's becoming extremely common. But maybe a little bit more elaborate things like a video review from a customer, and combined with the usage. So I was just noticing this Molo pickles, right? Sanjay had commented on it also, like really, really cool stuff. It put in recipes, but what if this particular page has some homemaker creating that recipe, or some of his customer also reviewing that recipe, not just the product itself? These are the kind of social reviews that we should look at it more and more, because of course, as D2Cs, we need to keep on upping our games always.
Great. Thank you so much for sharing and sort of summarizing all of this for us, Garsha. Yeah, Nikhil, let's go on. Yeah.
I think the last part, the last part on this conversion rate optimization is that you have to focus on the lowest hanging fruit. The number one is the abandoned cart, right? So there are a lot of people who are adding to your cart, adding products to the cart, or just making the purchase but dropping at the payment part. So these are again like You have to understand that these people, they're either looking for discounts, or they're not able to understand your value proposition, or they're not trusting you enough, right? So, but this is the lowest hanging fruit. They've already gone through the entire funnel just to drop off the last moment. So, you need to be able to figure out, first of all, why is this happening. So do a lot of customer calls with this abandoned cart to figure out why they're abandoning your cart, and then implement an abandoned cart program where, whenever a abandoned cart happens, so people are sent out messages detailing what are the kind of products they added to the cart, what are the payment options available, what are the return policies. Just give them everything in one go so that they are able to understand and rebuild that trust. Whatever questions they have, they can ask you there and then. But personally, I've seen that abandoned cart, if implemented right, can increase your conversion by an order of magnitude, not just by 2-3%, but by an order of magnitude. So that is one thing that you should highly focus on. The second lowest hanging fruit is the customers who have already bought, right? So these are the customers, they've liked your product. I think a lot of us, while building D2C brand, because it's very operational intensive kind of a business, we forget that the customers who have bought from us, they can actually buy again, right? And without spending a lot of money. So one of the best ways to do that is to run a very good loyalty program where they are rewarded on every order, and customers are made special. They made feel special that, okay, I'm buying a product from this XYZ brand and I'm getting some points. They're reminding me of these points, and you can use these. These are actually very good conversational points with your customers. That, okay, you have some XYZ points. There is some festive season coming. Just do something with the points. Make some nice email or make some nice message. Send it out to the customers. But be very clear and transparent on what are the kind of कि आपको points कब मिलने वाले हैं, कैसे मिलने वाले हैं, उसको redeem कैसे कर सकते हो. The more clear and transparent your program is, it becomes very easy for customers to actually participate in that. And referral is again very strong. If a customer has already bought your product, they have spent money on your product, they're more likely to actually refer it to their friends, family, right? So these are two very lowest hanging fruit that you can actually optimize and see your conversion rate go up. So any questions on that?
No, I think this is evident. People are good on the abandoned cart and also the retention. Yeah, Kritika has a question.
Hi, Nikhil.
Hi,
My
Kritika.
question is slightly different from this sheet. Actually, overall, I just wanted to understand from you and your experience. Our brand, the Earth Collective, our site is on WooCommerce. So, there's a lot of conversation about how Shopify is much easier and probably CRO is also better. And while you provided this fabulous checklist of things that we need to implement to sort of, finally take that call, but just wanted to understand from you, between WooCommerce and Shopify, how your experience has been like,
See, I'm okay with both the platforms. I love both of them equally.
Okay.
But it depends on as founders, what are you comfortable with? Are you comfortable with WooCommerce? So between me and Gaurisha, Gaurisha was more comfortable with WooCommerce. So most of the time we were on WooCommerce. But we have done Shopify also for a couple of years.
I'll chip in here, Kritika. So, you guys are on WooCommerce. It's an absolutely lovely platform. In case you guys,
I told you, it's a very personal opinion.
So, Shopify also, it's a very, very cool platform. But if you're very comfortable with WooCommerce, then there is no specific reason to switch to Shopify. These are the same things which could be implemented on WooCommerce as well, very, very easily.
There are pros and cons. If you have WooCommerce, then you can have your servers in India. You can have your own servers and make sure that your website is fast. So our website on WooCommerce used to load in less than, I think, 700 milliseconds, if I'm right.
Yeah.
And even at the checkout level, the amount of coupons and the kind of things that we can do on WooCommerce versus on Shopify, right? So that's another thing.
Checkout customization is much more doable on WooCommerce. But again, if you find a partner who's good on Shopify, then switch to Shopify. It's the people who have to work on the platform that matters.
Got it. Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks, Ritika. So I guess this was sort of a checklist, and I think this will form a very good follow-on from Prasa's session, which explained what to do and why to do, and this is more like okay, let's do this now.
Yeah, so great. So I won't take another 2-3 minutes on sort of summarizing. So like Nikhil said, Prash's session was more on what to do and why to do. This is how to do it. And I, the sort of 2-3 things I want to summarize on this front is that after the session, I hope you realize the level of nuances that you might need to undertake to sort of make an actionable plan for improving your website. Clearly, the devil is obviously in the details, and I hope this list is sort of a very strong takeaway for everyone to sort of prioritize and track improvements. And all of this doesn't need to be happening in a day, but you can understand from sort of setting out the filters around impact and ease of execution to understand in terms of the priority which one you should be doing first across each of those sheets. So I hope everyone sort of takes out time which they haven't complete. So given the session is clear to sort of address your doubts, so go that, fill that up for yourself, work with your own developers or people to sort of help you build out your website, sort of solve that. One of those other things I want to sort of use as a segue is, given we focus a lot of energy around acquisition or in terms of sort of making sure this bucket is not leaking, if those users sort of drop out in the middle of the process, we'll be sort of running sessions specifically on how to leverage email and WhatsApp to sort of get those users, message them to try to come back. And on that note, sort of we have a way, Nikhil, to thanking you. But before that, I also want to sort of take out 2 minutes key. Like the same way you want to sort of leverage a lot of feedback. Our coming next session is literally about getting direct feedback on your own business, where we leverage the power of the cohorts. So it's one of those sessions which are the highly rated experiences in the program. And the way we sort of say thanks is everyone sort of please turn on your videos. So Nikhil, first, thank you so much for taking out the time. It was really detailed. First, the amount of effort you sort of took out in building out this sheet for all of us, which we can really sort of put in and plug in to sort of directively figure out what we need to do. And Nikhil, you can join us. I don't know if you've seen this process, but I play some little background music and we
actually I think I might have seen it with Varsha.
Nikhil, I'd like to say something. This has been so far the best session for those who do not understand anything. A lot of takeaways we can remember, just in our minds. We don't have to go back to anything. Thanks a ton.
Thank you so
Thanks,
much.
Bhavna. I'm glad you liked it.
Yeah, so everyone put my hands in front. Yeah, Nikhil, you can join us. We do a countdown between 3 to 1 and we end with Go Team. Okay?
Okay, I have to just do this.
Okay. 3, 2, 1, Go Team.